The opening ceremony for the Paris Olympic Games featured a decapitated Marie Antoinette, who famously pronounced the words "let them eat cake" and was eventually eaten by the revolution. The Last Supper parody of transvestite or transgender apostles was served a plate with a human caricature of Dionysus on it. The head of the table, the false Christ stand-in, is not offered in sacrifice, does not beckon the rest to a shared meal of commemoration. Rather, the god of wine is plated for consumption. Now, Dionysus, Roman Bacchus, is being compared to Jesus here as a god of resurrection and who is associated with wine, the Eucharistic wine, and who is said to have his flesh eaten. The important question here, however, is who ate Dionysus in Greek mythology? Who are the occupants of this grotesque Last Supper? And it was, of course, the Titans. They consumed him before he was restored by the Olympians, whose king, Zeus, punished the Titans for their transgression. There is no hint of resurrection here, however, less so of punishment for transgression. The Olympic Games, named after the Olympians, the gods, originally celebrated at the religious sanctuary of Olympia in honor of Zeus, have been linked to different myths, but most do hold that Zeus was central. These games, then, are being consecrated to the enemies of Zeus, to the Titans. Their meaning is precisely inverted. But why would they be transvestites or transgendered? In the Greek philosophical tradition, Neoplatonism, I'm thinking specifically of Proclus, Dionysus is the male part of the world soul. He is nature, ordered according to the will of the higher supranatural gods. So Dionysus, philosophically speaking, represents nature, or the male part of nature. Writes Proclus, so daemons, or spirits of the corrupt kind, soul polluters, strike up a war with souls on their descent into the world. Ancient theologians refer to this as Osiris versus Typhon, Dionysus versus the Titans, etc. The Titans, then, are savage powers of disordered nature, personified, instinct, whose lack of alignment with higher order is experienced by the seeker, by the initiate, as a ritual death before he undergoes spiritual rebirth. That's one way to interpret Dionysus's death and resurrection. But if those powers were to succeed in permanently consuming us, or nature, in dismembering Dionysus and avoiding his resurrection altogether, in usurping Zeus, who comes to Dionysus's aid, form would be overthrown. Categories, like gender, could be forever rendered fluid or altogether abolished. The order imposed by Zeus would be done with once and for all. So the Luciferian, the Titanic psychology imagines. The old order, Dionysus, Marie Antoinette, is overthrown by the revolution, the transgenderism, or a new emancipatory revolution, which the opening ceremony presents as being in continuity with the French overthrow of the old regime, of the old monarchies, succeeds. And this is not through Christ-like self-sacrifice and moral renewal, but through death and consumption. Of course, the mockery of Christianity has to do with the ultimate overthrow, that of religion. These, then, are not Olympic games, but Titanic, which is to say, satanic. All right, I'm not saying that this has any wider importance or cultural resonance or anything. I'm just pointing out that the symbolism seems pretty consistent with a subversive message. And I'd seen a lot of commentary on it, but not bringing up these particular points. Thank you for watching, and subscribe if you want to.